Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Jackie Watson, Vice Principal of Oxford Spires Academy in charge of Sixth Form, Careers and Enrichment, and I'm delighted to welcome you to this presentation. This year's Sixth Form Open Evening is different to usual. As we've moved online, we've split the usual evening into two parts. Tonight is the general information about what is special about Oxford Spires, how we prepare students to move on successfully into the world after Sixth Form, and how you might apply to join us for next year. On Wednesday the 20th of January, we'll have the second part of our evening, which will be online too, and you'll be able to, on that evening, you'll be able to register to talk to heads of Sixth Form subjects about their courses and to current Sixth Form students, and you'll be able to talk about all of the different A-levels and BTEC courses that we run on that evening. So what is special about Oxford Spires Sixth Form? Well, key to all of us, I think, is diversity. We are a wide-ranging sixth form in terms of ability, cultural background and social background. Students study first and second steps courses in our sixth form, learning English from scratch with our English as an additional language department, as well as taking A-level courses and BTEC courses and being on track for careers, apprenticeships and university applications. Some students' parents here are university lecturers and very highly educated. Others will be the first in their family to go to university, and we all learn from each other. Individuality, for me, is also key. We set personal targets and we value progress measures that value these, which are key to Oxford Spires Academy, not just the numbers of grades that people get. We foster students' ambitions and we give them the support they need to reach those ambitions. And finally, community is vital to us. Students and staff support one another, whether students are from OSA Year 11, from different parts of the world and new to the UK, or from different local schools. Approximately a fifth of our Year 12 intake usually come to Oxford Spires from other schools, and we make welcome students who wish to learn wherever they come from. You'll hear more from students who've made that shift if you join us again on the 20th of January, and they'll be in evidence amongst the current students talking with you about their subjects. Since the creation of Oxford Spires Academy, the results at GCSE and A-level have been building up year on year. I've been head of sixth form now for just over 5 years, and key for me is individual progress. How far students move from their GCSE base and meet their own targets. This is much more important to me and much more responsive to context than how many 9s or 7s or 5s there are at GCSE and how many A stars or A's or B's at A-level. You can see the numbers of grades that subjects get each year very easily, but group sizes, student background, their scores at GCSE, etc. vary a lot from year to year, so the context of these results is more difficult for people to see. If you take English literature, and I'm picking that because I often teach it, over the last couple of years, some students have gained D and E grades at A-level. We're not a selective sixth form, and my last group in literature had students who had grade 4 at GCSE. Maybe they'd only started speaking English with English as an additional language in year 10. The key thing is that they worked hard. That's what we ask of them. And they do brilliantly when they pass an A-level in English in that situation. As teachers, we are delighted. On the other hand, lessons and support allow those individuals who are placed to do exceptionally well to reach their top grades. And over the last few years, we've had A-star students every year. Last year, we had 2 students go on to read English at Oxford University, having gained A-star at A-level. So if you love English, whatever your ability and aspirations, you can do well. This year, I've been running an extension English group, learning critical theory for those students who want to apply to do it at university. We do that in other subjects as well. And your ability and aspirations are what matter to us at Oxford Spires, not entirely your background. And English is typical of our A-level subjects. I could have cited A-star grades at A-level in politics, in sociology, in history, in chemistry, in physics, in languages, in maths, etc. We have students making successful high-level applications in sciences, as well as in English and in the humanities. And I'm confident, after all the work that the school has put into its sixth form, that teaching in classrooms and the independent work expected outside lessons is able to support students of all abilities to do well. Staff at OSA care. They give their time and they support students. As a student at Oxford Spires Academy, you'll have access to the sixth form area, common rooms of your own and an IT workroom, as well as a lot of laptops. You also have a sixth form area in the library and access to IT rooms, and this provision will keep growing as the cohort sizes rise, and there are plans to start building a new sixth form centre in the next year. This is a really exciting time to be joining the sixth form. Being a sixth form student at Oxford Spires Academy is more than just studying your subjects. You have a cafe shared with staff, as well as a kitchen and vending machines in the Rubin Common Room and in the Conference Centre Common Room. You need space to be with other students and to work with them. Facilities develop every year depending on who is in the sixth form. The student leadership team work with sixth form staff to set up what is important to them. So whether there's a year group who wants to set up more sport and works with PE staff to do that, or is focused on charity fundraising or volunteering, or wants more social events and a big prom in year 13, or thinks it would be great to have a sandwich maker in the common room, or, well, you get the idea. You lead, it's your sixth form, and there is a structure through the lead students and their leadership team to make things happen. Sixth form staff are, of course, facilities too, and apart from a head of sixth form, me, we have a deputy head of sixth form, Miss Harry, and a head of year, Mr. Loftus, who some of you meet later on this evening. And we also have specialist sixth form tutors who work with students each week. We have careers staff who are specialists in their area, and a sixth form office manager, Mrs. Daly. So there are lots of things that are different in the sixth form, and you'll need different kinds of support and guidance. You don't wear a uniform, and provided you attend lessons and pastoral time, you can go off-site more flexibly. You have your own working space because you have study periods that you learn to manage yourself, and you can work at home again provided that you attend lessons and do the necessary work. Another main area that is different is work with tutors. You don't have afternoon tutor time as the younger years do, and instead we offer a programme of support and guidance 1 hour a week over a lunchtime, so it fits around everybody's timetable. Sixth form staff and outside experts work with sixth form students to make sure they develop the skills and succeed at a higher level and to work independently. They look at issues such as finance and budgeting as students prepare for adult life, at career planning, and at coping with the pressures of life at this age. Time management is key when you're juggling lessons alongside paid work, driving lessons, hobbies, and social life, and we work hard to make sure that our students cope with the pressure of exams and they know how to cope and relax and cope mentally. We give careers advice and guidance to all our sixth formers according to what they wish to do, and we try to open their eyes too with careers events, speakers and apprenticeship sessions. Most of our year 13 apply to university though, and we do a lot to make sure that they go to the places where they want to study. For some universities and some subjects, they need more specialist guidance. I've been a head of sixth form, working in this area in secondary schools and the sixth form college for 24 years, and I work with a team in and out of school to make sure that this happens. I'm part of a widening access team working in one of the Oxford colleges, and I work with several other colleges to ensure that students are stretched and they aim high. From visits to universities lower in school through all the work that you've just seen in the sixth form to support in year 13 with personal statements, applications and mock interviews, we achieve what we set out to do. Almost all last year's Year 13 got into the university courses of their choice. This year we're proud of the 15 Oxbridge applicants and the 4 who've applied for medicine, but we're just as proud of Harry last year, who came back to last year's presentation evening to pick up the Sports Award, saying he'd just won the Vice-Chancellor's Scholarship for his work in the first term. Or for Thomas, who a year or so ago was training to be a police officer, a job he always wanted to do. We encourage students, whether they want to do traineeships, gap years, or internships, and we help them according to the ambitions that they individually have. So in terms of careers, Year 11 provision. We have currently just over 120 students on Level 3 courses in Year 12 and just over 100 students in Year 13, with another 20 or so on largely English language courses as part of the STEPS programme. This is a manageable number, while being big enough to offer a wide range of subjects at A-level. And we make sure that individuals access the extra and supercurricular opportunities that they need for successful applications after Sixth Form. This slide shows you just a selection of the outside bodies that we've worked with over the last year or so. From the British Film Institute courses on filmmaking for potential media students, to Nuffield Science Research programmes, to a wide range of public speaking and debating competitions, to making podcasts with the Pitt Rivers Museum. We've won an Oxfordshire Youth Award for our Displaced Voices programme, for the composition of new music alongside the Orchestra of St John, and we've won a Vice-Chancellor's Award for the Voices in the Gallery project with the Ashmolean Museum. And you can imagine, with all this going on, students in our sixth form have lots of opportunity to build up the kind of profile that really impresses at universities and in applications. These are the opportunities to extend their transferable skills in extracurricular activities to become better leaders, team members, communicators, time managers, and so on. There are also in the supercurricular activities many opportunities to learn more about the subjects that students want to study after sixth form, and the chance to go beyond A-level specifications. We support Oxbridge applications through encouraging students to apply for Unique and Sutton Trust summer schools. We work with Magdalen College School, who help with preparation for university entrance exams and with mock interviews. And I work with Somerville College's Access Working Party, as well as a link we have with Trinity College to help students learn more about those higher level competitive applications. For the last 2 years, we've been working as part of New College's Step Up programme, and this year we've worked closely with Regent's Park College too. But it's not all about Oxbridge, and many of our students benefit from work at Oxford Brookes too, especially their Brookes Engage programme, helping students find out more about the university learning in general and about their subjects. And we work with Reading University quite closely on a number of programmes, including Reading Scholars, which allows them to prepare for university through that university too. For scientists, we support students taking Nuffield research projects, working with Into Science programmes and so on. There are psychology placements in the university faculty, and students help with research projects across a range of different disciplines, recently into attitudes to autism, in previous years research projects looking at young people's attitude to risk and to the recognition of and to the cognition of numeracy. We run projects with university science faculties, such as that last year where A-level chemists looked at the arsenic levels in cooked rice and got to work with some serious kit at the undergraduate labs, as well as mentoring Year 8 students who were taking part in the information gathering. There's a very nicely established now potential medics group mentored by one of our parents, oncologist Claire Jacobs, who's focused on work experience and volunteering with our students, as well as selecting medical schools, statements and making statements and applications, preparation for BMAT and UCAT, and now mock interviews. And this is echoed by support from Magdalen College School Medical Society, as well as access to talks and workshops at university, such as the the Sherrington Society at Magdalen College. We've begun to echo this model with a new creatives group led last year by a local BBC documentary maker, and we're beginning to start a law group shortly, COVID willing. Students attend lots of lectures at the university as a whole, from the Lord Lieutenant's Law Lecture every September to the Cell Biology Day at the Museum of Natural History to the Neuroscience programme at St Hilda's and Mansfield College lectures. Languages students work with the university faculty, and classics and arts students work with the Ashmolean. These all add to statements for university and other applications. We work closely with Into University and Study Hire, who help students who might not have considered university and who encourage them to try things out. But Year 12 students also find out about apprenticeships, they all go on work experience, and they all see a careers advisor individually. And this is not the same in every school. We put a lot of focus on our careers work more broadly. Work experience is vital for Year 12, and students arrange things that suit their needs, and also we have lots of offers sent into school, from digital archiving work for 2 students every year at the Bodleian Library to places on the BMW programme for students thinking about applying for their apprenticeships. We go on events like the archaeology field visits at Silchester via Reading University, looking at what professional archaeologists do. And this is just a selection of the kind of work that our students take part in every year. Sixth Form are important as mentors for younger students, often through house captaincy, and all Year 12s do community service placements as well. We've set up Mentors for our Sixth Form, a programme where we work with local business people and friends of the school, including local parents. And anyone listening to this who would like to be involved in our mentoring scheme, please do email me to discuss joining us. We run an annual assessment centre day, giving students practice in the individual, pair and group tasks often set when businesses are recruiting, with individual feedback on their performance across the day. And this has also been good support for those students applying for the Into University Big City Bright Futures, BlackRock London internship scheme, or those applying for law work experience placements in London over the summer. There are subject trips in most areas in normal years, field visits, lectures and workshops, including visits to other countries. Every year we take part in the Lessons from Auschwitz programme, and you may well remember the assemblies that students in previous years have given to school around the Holocaust Memorial Day. We run Higher Education and Research Week every summer, and this last year we were unable to do that in person. We ran it online, and this coming year again, we'll go to the Higher Education Conference held at Oxford Brookes, which will be followed by sessions in school as students prepare for their UCAS applications. Research skills are vital for Year 13 coursework in a lot of subjects, but while we're on the subject of research, it's certain that one of the best things students can do to develop their research skills is to take on an extended project qualification. Some schools offer this in Year 12, and undoubtedly that's easier for the school to organise, but it's my view that for most students, EPQ projects are just better done if students write them in Year 13, when they have more mature study habits, have learnt a lot through working at AS level, and vitally have a clearer idea of what they want to do at university. EPQs are 5,000 word research projects on any subject a student is interested in, and they're a good way of learning how undergraduates in their first year at university need to work. They can allow medics or lawyers or those who want to study a subject that they don't take at A level to find out more and to impress admissions tutors. We usually begin extended project work immediately after AS exams in May, although that's relatively flexible. I have a Year 12 who's already started their project and a couple of others who've started the research because they wanted to do it a bit early. After May, though, our students have a lot of help from staff at Oxford University to begin their research. I deliver a research skills programme, and this is supplemented by visits to Oxford University College libraries and to the Bodleian. When I began supervising EPQs at Oxford Spires, my first step was to see if I could get our students into the university's libraries so they could access not only books but also online resources that the university can provide. And this work has now turned into something called Ox Libris, which is now available to all secondary schools locally, but actually only used by 2 or 3 of us very effectively, and that's something that I'm very proud of having been part of. In addition to extended projects, I also advise those interested in extending their subject knowledge and their skills to look at Eton X courses and at MOOCs, which are that's an acronym for Massive Open Access Online Courses, for those of you who haven't come across them before. Parents can take those as well as students. They're offered by many universities, and all you need to do to find out more about them in the UK is to Google something called Future Learn, and you can find out more about what they have on offer. I think during lockdown, lots of people came into contact with Future Learn. You can search for MOOCs that way, as I say, in the UK, but a lot of the US universities, MIT, for example, or Stanford, offer them too. So it's worth having a little look around for things that you can do freely online. They're very, very good ways of extending your subject. Public speaking and debating have always been important at Oxford Spires Academy, and they establish the kind of skills and confidence that students need for their future. I've now arranged 2 cross-Academy Trust conferences for the schools that are part of our Academy Trust. One took place at St John's College and the next year at Somerville College. And we're hoping that we can pick up the one that we missed last year at Mansfield College this next summer. It's now an annual event, like our House Public Speaking in school and debating in school, which is led by Sixth Form students, again in normal years. This year we're doing a lot virtually, and the Sixth Formers are trying to help online so that they don't burst bubbles, but normally the Sixth Formers will be very, very hands-on in keeping that going and making that work for younger pupils too. In politics, we take part in the annual Parliament Day, which has given our students the chance to debate at Convocation House in the Bodleian and to take part in workshops at the Western Library and to attend sessions with local activists to look at local political ideas. Creativity is central for our school. Poetry workshops continue into the Sixth Form, and applications for poetry competitions and the publication of poetry, and that continues to work, as we've seen during lockdown with Kate Clancy's group, who produced Unmute, that wonderful anthology earlier in the year. We've been working with the Oxford Professor of Poetry, Alice Oswald, on her local projects, and we continue to do that next year. There are spin-off projects like this across all sorts of different areas, and the award-winning Displaced Voices project had our students performing their poetry with the Orchestra of St John at Dorchester Abbey, Somerville College and King's Place Arts Centre in London the year before last, and this last year that won an Oxfordshire Youth Award for the Arts Stars of 2020. This year we're working again with the University Music Faculty and the Orchestra of St John on a project creating new music to reflect the cultural heritage of some of our students, and we're developing links to the University's Music Faculty every year to broaden further the experience available to our students. Then there is the articulation competition in art, where students each year work with the Ashmolean to enter a national competition for public speaking about artwork. There's Film Oxford and BFI courses in media, and our students have learnt filmmaking skills and documentary making skills prior to careers in that area. And a group of students last year in Year 12 produced professionally made podcasts exploring the collection at the Pitt Rivers Museum and the politics of the acquisition and labelling of objects. This follows on from podcasts made the year before, again winning Vice-Chancellor's Award this time, called the Voices in the Gallery project at the Ashmolean. We do a lot of arts work, and the arts are really important to our sixth formers, to our school. So having found that it's vital that you join Oxford Spires Academy, the final few slides then this evening talk about how in practice that works. Most students doing A-level in this country now take 3 subjects. Some students at Oxford Spires take 4, particularly if you're taking maths and further maths, that might be a sensible option. Courses are 2 years long, though at the end of year 12, students at Oxford Spires do, in most subjects, still take an AS level exam. That doesn't count towards your A level, but it allows you to have a practice at half of the A level content and to see what kind of grade your work so far would lead to. And I'm happy to discuss the taking of AS levels further with anyone who would like to talk about that after this presentation. We are able, as I said, to timetable 4 courses at A-level if a student does well at GCSE and is able to manage the workload. And again, I'm quite happy to talk to individuals about whether that might be a sensible choice for them. This is for further discussion in the meetings that we have with students after application and in the summer enrolment in August once students have their GCSE exams. Sport and business run BTEC courses, which are equivalent to A-level and would be studied alongside 2 other subjects usually. It is possible to do a double business BTEC course in place of 2 A-levels, and we're looking this year at introducing A-level business too, so there's quite a business focus in the sixth form for some students. So subject choice is an individual one, of course. You have 26 subjects to study from at A-level, perhaps slightly more next year, including some that you couldn't study at GCSE, such as psychology or politics, and several that were new to Oxford Spires Academy very recently. We've deliberately extended our offer as the Year 11 groups are getting larger, and this means that now you can take photography, music technology, classical civilization, product design and computing. There's a new maths certificate at level 3 this last year for those who need higher level maths and perhaps to support science subjects but who don't want to do maths A level. Apart from A-levels, those BTEC courses I mentioned in sport and business are running, and these courses have a larger proportion of coursework units, although they do still have exams that you need to pass. You need to be particularly organised to keep on top of unit deadlines to do BTEC, but these can appeal to students who wish to pursue these areas in the future. And there's a practical element in sport, although you also study this alongside anatomy and physiology, for instance. They're academic subjects, they're not work-based learning. If you would prefer a less theoretical course than we offer in our sixth form, then you'll need to discuss other options with careers advisors and perhaps have a chat with us about different options locally that you might take up. Some students will not reach the entry requirements for A-level courses, unfortunately, and you may be in this position at this stage. If you are in that position or think you might be, then it's really sensible to talk to Mr. Bingham or one of the careers advisors in your one-to-one interview, or to ask me if you'd like a follow-up interview. We always try and support students to reach their aim. That sometimes means that students have to leave us for a year to redo a level 2 qualification before returning to Oxford Spires to do A-levels, which are level 3 the year after. But we can always talk on an individual basis about how we can support students as best we can for them. So the final things to mention, as part of our support for sixth form students who might struggle financially to study at this level, we offer a number of sixth form bursaries for anyone whose family income is below a threshold of £25,000 a year. Students are invited to put in application forms for those once their course is confirmed in August. So in practical terms, what happens next? Well, after this talk, immediately this evening, you're invited to join one of the sixth form team, that's me or Miss Harry or Mr. Loftus, in one of the breakout rooms online, so you can ask any questions that this presentation has generated. Then, after Christmas, you can register to talk to subject teachers and current students about courses you might be interested in taking. And a reminder, this second online session will take place on Wednesday, the 20th of January. We ask you to submit an application form by the end of January. The application form will be up online very soon, and then you'll have a meeting after application with one of the sixth form team to discuss your GCSE grades and whether the course you plan looks likely to suit you and your career plans. We ask students to come back in for a couple of days of induction after their GCSE exams are over to take taster lessons and think about planning for their sixth form learning. And then in the summer, once we have your GCSE results, we'll enrol students on courses that they're qualified to do. It's not always the end of the decision-making process. Sometimes students begin on 4 subjects, even if they're not quite sure of what to take, and even if they plan to do 3 ultimately, and they make a decision over the first few weeks of year 12. And occasionally people swap these subjects in the first few weeks of year 12 if they realise they should have chosen something else. So tonight is part of a much longer process. There's huge flexibility and a lot of advice. And I wish you all a very, very good series of over the next few months, thinking about that process sensibly to make the right decisions. So in the short term, thank you very much for listening to this. I hope you will stay online for a minute or two now so that we can split you into different rooms to ask your questions. And do please take that chance to check up on anything that's immediately unclear. And I look forward to talking again to most of you over the course of the next few months. Thank you very much for your time.